everybody. I miss you. I'm gonna do a little mat class here from my backyard because it's such a beautiful day out. So there's a couple of things that if you have them, that would be very helpful. Just things that, one thing that everybody has around the house is just a broom. So if you have this, that will be helpful. I have a Pilates block. If you have a Pilates block, that's great. If not, you can use anything that would be a little bit of an elevation that's about this size of a yoga Pilates block. So just something that'll kind of help to elevate. So you can pause and go see if you can find something makeshift, or even a little step stool and put a little part of a mat or padding over it. And then the last thing is just a small set of hand weights. If you don't have a small set of hand weights, you can grab 2 cans of soup, a couple of water bottles. It's just for a little bit of arm work because we don't get to do a ton of arm work specifically on the mat. So it's sort of a combo. It's a little bit inspired by some of the work we do in the Reformer and the Cadillac. So I'm going to do things from the side so you can see, hopefully, and you can always pause if you need to slow down and and look at the instruction again. But I will try to talk my way through this the best that I can, and let's get started. So why don't we just all start together with our favorite thing, a roll down. So your feet are going to be about hip width distance apart. Take a look at your toes. Make sure that they're even. Nothing's turned out or anything. Your hands are going to come down. Roll those shoulders down and back. Okay, so let's get into that engagement too. Rolling those shoulders down and back. You want to almost feel those shoulder blades drawing down and together. You feel those collarbones nice and wide. Feel that stretch in itself. It's really nice. Try not to let your ribs pop when you do this, but have the shoulders down and back, and then draw the belly button to meet the spine so you're in a nice, tall, strong position. Feet hip width distance apart. Hands are just in front of you. Have energy through the fingertips as you do this. Take a big inhale, keeping your belly button engaged, so kind of try to breathe into the back line of your body. And as you exhale, just roll down, going through each vertebra, chin to chest. Come into what feels like a chest lift. There's a soft bend in the knee here. We're going to roll down, keeping the belly button reaching to spine, keeping the hips over the ankles. Bend a little bit more in the knee if you need to. Come down as low as you can. You're still engaged in those abdominals. Take an inhale at the bottom, exhale. Start to lift through the pelvic floor. So your low abs draw up first. Everything follows. Head and neck are last. Shoulders down and back. Belly button into spine. Reset. Feel the engagement of your inner thighs here. Hands reaching down. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, chin to chest. As you exhale, come into what feels like that chest lift, rolling down through. Feel those hips staying over those ankles. Pause here. Inhale, exhale, and roll on up. Let's do one more. Roll those shoulders back and down, collarbones wide. Abdominals reaching for that, reaching toward the back line of your body. Inhale, exhale. Knees softly bent. Even if you're super flexible, keep those knees softly bent. Inhale, exhale. Draw up using those abdominals. And turn around. So make note of how that felt for you. We'll do another one at the end of class and see how much that changes for you. I'm gonna move the mat a little closer. Pardon my bum. Here we are. Okay, let's make sure we can see. All right. So now we're going to get down onto the mat. We're going to do just our basic warm-up. We'll start with our pelvic curl, and then we'll come into our spine twist. And then we're going to do some leg changes. And actually, it's more of an intermediate. And then we're going to do our single leg stretch, double leg stretch, crisscross, and roll up. So it's kind of an intense warm-up, but I kind of wanted this class to be something that could get your blood pumping and a little bit of sweat, because I think we all need that right about now. So come on down to your mat and bring your feet up toward your bum, not too much, but you also don't want them too far out like this. That's going to make that pelvic curl kind of difficult. So you want a little bit of space between your bum and your heels. Shoulder blades are still in that down and back position. Feel like you're plugging your belly button into the mat. Now take your deep breaths here, continuing to keep that abdominal engagement. You're breathing basically into the side. It's like a lateral breathing, opening up and exhaling. And open up from the back line of your body. Fill those lungs, but keep those abs engaged. You feel the pelvic floor engaged. And inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. On the next inhale, prepare to start your pelvic curl. You're reaching your heels through the floor. Feel those hamstrings engaged. Take an inhale, exhale. Curl pubic bone toward belly button. Keep lifting that pubic bone toward the belly button. Come up to about your bra line. Take an inhale at the top. Reach your knees forward. Keep that pubic bone reaching toward the belly button as you roll through the spine. Take a big inhale as you flatten that sacrum and press the sacrum into the mat. Exhale. Engage the abdominals. Draw pubic bone to belly button and lift. Keep your gaze kind of low. Make sure that your head isn't looking to behind you. You want to kind of look up past your hands if they were here. So I'm going to have you do about 3 more of those. Using your breath. Inhale. Filling the back rib cage. Exhale, pubic bone to belly button. Reach those knees forward. Lift those hips a little higher. See if you can get a little higher on this next one. Exhale. Rolling on down. Let's do 1 more here. Inhale, filling those lungs. Exhale, engage those abdominals, reaching up. Check in with your shoulders, check in with your chin. You don't want your chin totally touching your chest, but almost like you've got an orange that you're holding between your chin and your chest. Good. So we're going to bring both legs to tabletop. The option for modification here is that you can keep your legs down on the ground, or you can even elevate them up on like a yoga block. All right? I will do it in tabletop position. So bring both legs to tabletop. You can bring your arms out to the side into a T, and make sure that your knees are over your hips and that your legs are in a good 90-degree angle here. So you can either have your arms out in a T, you can have goalpost arms, they can be down by your side. Really the correct way to do it is with the arms out in the T for mat purposes. So we take an inhale and allow those legs to drop toward the right. Now you're trying to keep that back rib cage down. You want to feel like your belly button is being pulled toward the mat, and you exhale to draw back center. Inhale, the legs drop toward the left. Try to keep those knees in alignment with one another. Exhale, draw back center using your obliques. Inhale, twist. Exhale, draw back center. Inhale, left. Exhale, draw back center. You're squeezing those inner thighs together. You feel like your legs are tied and they're in one piece, just wringing out at the waist. Your belly button is still trying to plug into the mat throughout. You might find a little shake here. We're going to do 1 more on each side. And bring both legs down. Arms down long by your side. Woo, take a little breath. The sun's got me a little hot already. I'm going to have a tan. Okay, that's why my eyes are closed, because the sun's in my eyes. Anyway, you're going to take let's start with the left side. Let's take that left leg up into its tabletop position. And we're going to do our little leg lifts here. So we inhale, the leg drops down, the toe barely touches the floor. Exhale, draw back up. Now keep going, and I'll give you some more cueing here. You want to make sure that that leg stays in the exact same position as you do this. Inhaling down, exhaling, using the low abs to draw the leg up. Inhaling down, exhaling up. Check in with yourself. Make sure that you're maintaining that 90-degree angle. Make sure you're still plugging that belly button into the mat. Make sure that you still have a nice heavy sacrum. There might be a tiny bit of the small of your back that lifts a little bit away from the mat, and that's what we want. Let's do 1 more. Exhale, up. Inhale down, exhale up. Yes, that was 2 more, I know. Bring your feet down. Bring the right leg up into a nice tabletop position. Check in with yourself. Knee right over hip in a nice strong position. Take an inhale. Drop that leg down. Barely touch the floor with your toe. Exhale. Draw up using your low abs. Inhale, exhale. I don't know about you, but when I do this exercise, I do feel a nice release through my hips, or maybe through my low back, but it feels like I'm stretching all in here, and it's just glorious. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Let's do 2 more. Inhaling, barely touching, exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Now bring both feet down for a moment. Just kind of shake that out. A little kind of tail waggy here, just to sort of open things up. And we're going to bring one leg into tabletop and then the other leg into tabletop. So you're starting basically in your position for spine twist here. So now it's just simultaneously dropping one leg and lifting the other leg. So we'll start by dropping the left leg down, barely touch the floor, and then switch. Inhaling, exhaling. Find your appropriate breath pattern for this, but just make sure you're getting a full deep inhale, full deep exhale. You're still trying to plug that belly button into the mat below you, just to keep those low abdominals engaged. Upper abdominals are engaged as well. Make sure that you're keeping that leg in that nice strong 90-degree angle. You might feel this in your quads here as well, but try to keep it out of the hip flexors here. You really want to feel it more in quads and abs, and feel that sort of opening up through the hips and lower back. Let's do one more. And good, excellent. Shake that out. Little tail wags here. Rock your knees side to side. Good, good. Okay, so we're gonna go into some ab warm-ups here. So bring the legs into tabletop and bring the hands behind the head. Press your head into your hands. Your elbows are gonna be in your peripheral vision, not here, not back here. They're in the peripheral vision. Let your head really rest into those hands like a hammock. Take an inhale to prepare. Keep that tailbone heavy, but keep the belly button reaching toward the mat. Take an inhale, exhale. Come into your chest lift. Bring both hands behind your legs and lift a little higher, okay? Feel that chest lift, feel that belly button reaching toward the ground. Bring both hands to the right side and extend the left. Now stay here for a moment. I want you to try to touch the wall with your left leg. Feel that stretch through the front of the thigh. When you draw that leg back in to switch, I want you to feel like somebody's holding the leg and you're pulling against them. And switch. Modification, you can always put your head down here. Now, you don't want to pull your knee into your chest. You're just kind of plugging that leg back into the hip socket, using the breath. Exhaling as you extend the leg. Keep the belly button reaching toward the mat. Keep that chest lifted. Keep that gaze low. Keep it out of your head and neck. Shake your head and neck. Last 2. You all know I can't count by now, so just bear with me on that one. Okay, now we're going to do our double leg stretch. So the legs come into that tabletop, head comes back behind the head, hands come back behind the head again. Remember also to keep those shoulder blades drawing back and down. Try to keep the shoulders away from the ears. You want to feel those shoulder blades drawing in and together here. Let the head rest like your hands are a hammock. Inhale, exhale. Draw up, hands come behind the legs, lift up a little bit more, put both hands on top of the knees, plug in the legs. On the inhale, simultaneously extend the arms and the legs. Inhale, exhale, arms come around, back to the top. Inhale, hands come around, back to your knees. Inhale, and knees, plug those legs back in. Keep that belly button reaching toward the mat. Keep that gaze just above your knees, maybe even on the top of your thighs. Same feeling of as if you're dragging those legs back in from somebody grabbing them. Feel that burn. Come to a nice shaky spot in those abdominals. And pull your knees into your chest. Woohoo! All right. So let's move to crisscross now. So again, what you want to do if you're feeling like your neck and shoulders and head are getting into this is just, you can rest your head down. The other thing you can do is lift your head up on that Pilates block. So you can absolutely lift your head up onto this Pilates block as well. I also want to make sure that's still running. Okay, good. So that's a modification for you to kind of support the head and neck and really get into that low ab connection. So it starts with your knees here in tabletop and your hands come behind your head. Now ideally you want to do this without a block, but it's there for you to take your rest if you need to for crisscross. So we rest the head back into the hands, hammock, inhale, exhale, come up into chest lift. As we extend the left leg out, bring the left armpit toward the right knee and switch. Inhale, switch, exhale. Getting through a nice full breath cycle. Trying to keep those shoulder blades lifted up off the mat. Trying to keep your chin in alignment with your chest, sternum, sorry. Don't bring the head with you too much. Couple more. And release. Ooh! All right, so that's a pretty good warm up there. So I know roll-ups can be pretty tough for people, so we'll do some modifications as well as just getting it done here. Sometimes if you have a block, it can actually help you to put a block in between your legs like this. Sorry. I hope you guys could see me all this time. You can put a block in between your ankles like that because a huge part of your roll-up is really your inner thighs. And kind of squeezing those ankles together, okay? Because the inner thighs will then draw up to that abdominal connection and kind of help you to roll up. So I'll just demonstrate, your kind of standard roll up here. So we take an inhale, head, neck, and shoulders, squeeze those ankles together, squeeze, 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 and start to roll up. But draw that belly button reaches back, and we come up and forward. Take an inhale here. Exhale, roll back. So if you've got that, keep going with that. You can also bend your knees. Inhale, head, neck, and shoulders. Exhale, reaching up. I find it harder with the knees bent, but you can try that. Additionally, you can keep one leg very long, grab on to the back of your leg, take an inhale, head, neck, and shoulders. Exhale, come up using the leg. Inhale at the top, roll back. Inhale, exhale. So make sure that movement as you're rolling up is very slow. So I want you to keep going there with that. Do as many of those as you, maybe about 5 or 6 of them if you got it in you. Inhale, exhale. Wherever you are, do one more. And release. Come and sit up here. We're going to move to a little bit of standing footwork. I do this sometimes in my tower classes on Sundays. It can be similar to like bar, but the difference between the standing footwork and the Pilates is that in bar when you do it, you kind of like, you keep your butt tucked the whole time. Whereas in Pilates when you do it, you sort of reach that butt back a little bit to sort of release through that pelvic floor a little bit. So I think it's good to have something to hold on to. We usually use the like the springs or the push-through bar, but I find that this is pretty helpful too. So I'll kind of move around to do it in different positions, but we're going to start with the feet parallel. Okay, so you've got your feet parallel, just like you're about to start a roll down. Heels are reaching through the floor, and we just bend. Pause at the bottom here for a moment. So right now you're kind of released through the hips. You want to, from the right where your hamstring meets your butt, that's where you want to engage to lift up, reach through the floor with your heels. So the whole time you want to feel like you're pressing through the floor with your heels. And lift. Inhale to drop. Let that pelvic floor sort of release at the bottom and then engage it to draw up. When you're drawing up, make sure that you're drawing up using those inner and outer quads, okay? And exhale. Constantly reaching those heels through the floor. You can even kind of lift your toes a bit just to make sure that you're in your heels. Try to make sure that those knees don't roll over, go over the toes. Inhale, exhale, pressing through. Next time you're down, pause and stay there. Let's just pulse here. But when you pulse, I want you to think about pulsing from here rather than through just the quads. It's the back, it's right where the butt meets the hamstring. And 3, 2, 1, and press up. Good. Let's come up onto our toes. Some people are going to have it in their body to come a lot higher on their toes than others. Some people will just barely have it lifted. One of the things you could try as a modification is if you have the hand weights, you can do what they're called, like in the gym, they're called high heel squats. So basically what you do here is you bring your heels up so they're elevated. If you feel like you can't get in there, if you feel like you can't keep the elevation, you can use that. So we'll move into that. So you're up on your toes as high as you can tolerate, using this just as a support so you don't fall. Bending, keeping the heels exactly where they are in space, just like you would on the Reformer or the Cadillac, and press up through. You'll feel this in your calves. Inhaling down, exhaling up. Ooh, cramp. Just push through that cramp in the calf. Just push through, you got it. Inhale. Exhale, pressing up. Inhale, reaching back. Make sure that you're releasing through that pelvic floor a little bit there. Bending and stretch. Draw up by drawing those sit bones together. Pause here and pulse from that, that space right there. You'll feel this burn in your quads for sure, no doubt. Last one, and up we go. Relax on down for a second, shake that out. We are gonna come into our V-foot. You could, if you're gonna do V-foot, you can keep down. You don't have to, you can keep your feet down if you need to, but just make sure that you're putting more of the pressure on your toes if you're keeping your heels down. You don't wanna be pressing too much through the heels. It's more through the toes in your V-foot here. You could also just take one of those weights and sort of find a way to just keep the heels elevated yet squeezing together at all times. Okay. So squeeze those heels together. When you're at the top, I want you to think about, you're squeezing your heels together, start to think about even trying to wrap your inner thighs around to the front of your thighs even more. So you're already so engaged just standing here. And then we lift, squeeze those heels together, bend down, pause here. Think now about reaching the back, the side knee behind you. Feel how that engages that spot where the butt meets the hamstring. And then we seal those legs together coming up. Squeezing the heels together. Squeeze the heels together on the way down. Squeeze them together on the way up. Inhaling down. Feel yourself really opening up those legs. From the side. Two more. Come down one more for a pulse. Pulse. 7, 8, and up. Woo! Good times. What time do I have here? How long have I been going? I gotta see. All right, 24 minutes. So let's do a little bit of wide leg, because that feels really good for release as well. So we're gonna come into wide V heels, just like you would on a Reformer. And then we'll do wide V toes. So you're reaching through the heels, drawing up. You're in that V, so you still have that wrapping sensation through the inner thighs. And we bend, sink that butt back a little bit. Make sure that those knees don't go far over those toes, and then engage from the back line of the body to lift. Seal the legs together. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. You can always pace this a little quicker, a little slower, whatever it takes to get it into your body. But think about reaching those side knees behind you as you're doing it, okay? Down and up. Last one here, and up. So come up onto the toes, wide toes, bend and stretch, bending and stretching. Keep going, bend and stretch, bend, send that butt back a little and stretch, bend and stretch, but still always belly button to spine. You're always kind of engaged in those very low abs. And that's it. And we're done with that. Oh, okay. So I want to just do a little, I want to kind of rock out those legs a little bit. So bring your hands down, walk out into sort of a downward dog, and then just sort of pedal your feet. Just sort of mimic a little prance here. Feel yourself stretching through those feet. Okay. All right, roll on up, all the way up. Now, okay, we're gonna come down, back onto the mat, and we're gonna do some spine twist, okay? So your legs are gonna be out in front of you like this. You wanna sit up nice and tall. The arms are gonna reach out to either side. Draw those shoulder blades down and back. Feel underneath your armpits here, right where your bra line meets, right where your tank top is, drawing in and together. But feel that belly button reaching to spine. You're tall, shoulders are over hips. You don't want to pop those ribs too much. All right, so you want to make sure that you're sitting nice and tall. The legs are a little bit apart, feet can be flexed. You can come to goalpost arms if you want to. All right, so those arms are long. We take an inhale, twist to the right. Take an inhale, exhale, twist to the right, and just pause here for a moment. So just pause in your twist. You're paused in your twist. Take an inhale here. Exhale, see if you can reach a little bit farther back. Reaching those fingertips away from one another. Trying to keep those hips, let's say, reaching forward, and then draw back to center. Take an inhale. Exhale, twist. The arm is to reach back. Take another big inhale. See if your arm can reach back even further. Feel that stretch. Come back center. So now we're going to move through this with a little bit of fluidity. So we inhale to prepare. Exhale, twist, pulse twice. Inhale, come back center. Exhale, twist, pulse twice. Inhale, come back center. Exhale, twist, pulse, pulse, come back center. Exhale, twist, pulse, pulse, draw back center. Exhale, twist, pulse, pulse, draw back center. Exhale, twist, pulse, pulse, draw back center. One more on each side. And release. Now, you'll see this from the side. We're going to do a little, oh my gosh, spacing out of the name, but I'll come up with it. All right, we're going to basically do a forward bend, and I don't know why I can't think of the name of it, but it'll come to me. It's a spinal articulation, and you want to feel like you're up against a wall, and your arms are long and down. Again, those shoulders are down and back. Those collarbones are wide. We're taking an inhale. Exhale, chin comes to chest. A lot like in a roll down. Come into what almost feels like a chest lift. Continue to reach the belly button toward the spine. You're up against that wall, and then roll on through. Spine stretch, spine stretch. Inhale here. Exhale. Roll on up. Like you're sending each vertebra up to the wall. Take an inhale. Exhale. Inhale, exhale. Roll on up. Keep going. If you're doing this with a person, you can sit back to back, and it's a really good way to get some feedback for each of those vertebrae, okay? Inhale, exhale. Or you can even put yourself up against a wall. Inhale, exhale. Last one. And release. Now again, pace yourself through all of these exercises. You don't have to do as many. You can do a few more if you feel really confident that you've got good form. But I'd rather you just take it a little slower and just work on the form and then come back to the video and try to speed things up a little bit for yourself if you can. So I want to do a little bit of plank work. It's going to be kind of like a side plank, but it's called side bend, and I'm going to give you a couple of modifications. This is actually an advanced move, so I don't expect too many people to really be able to do it perfectly. But I want to give you a couple of modifications before we start doing it. So what the exercise actually looks like is your feet are set up down here, your hands are set up down here, and you're going to get ready to go into a side plank. This right hand is kind of by the feet, your left arm is kind of reaching slightly away from you, because when you come up you want the shoulder over the wrist. So you start by taking an inhale and you press up. Exhale, reach over the hips, come a little higher. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, tap down. Inhale, exhale, reach up. Inhale, reach over. Exhale, reach up. Inhale, back down. Actually, it's inhale up, exhale over, inhale up, exhale down. So that's what it looks like in the kind of advanced version. But if you have a block or something you can lift on, you can certainly come onto the elbow. Okay, so you can come onto your elbow here, have the legs out to the side, lift up on the inhale, exhale over, kind of try to lift those hips a little higher to get that stretch. Come up and then down. Inhale up, exhale over, up, exhale down. Inhale up, over, inhale up, down. So I'm just going to give you some time to play with that here. You can also keep the left leg down. So these are, the reason I'm putting these exercises in here is because I feel like it's kind of a nice thing for you to work on if you want to pause, or if you're like, okay, that felt really good and I know I need to strengthen that. This is something you can just kind of work on. All right, you don't necessarily have to do it in the context of the class. Always good to warm up first though. So you can also have one hand here. You can keep the bottom leg on the ground as you lift up. Inhale over, up, down. Inhale up, exhale over, up, down. Okay, so I think we've done well on that side for that. Let's just flip to the other side. And you can do whichever version of this you want. The leg can stay down, and you can lift up, over, up, down, up, over, up, down. You can come onto your elbow slightly elevated because you do need that height, and you can keep the leg down even here too. So inhale up, exhale over, lift the hips a little higher, inhale up, exhale down, up, over, up, down. Or you can push yourself, just don't hurt yourself, okay? And you can do the more advanced version of this. Inhale up, exhale over, lift those hips a little higher, inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale over, inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, over, up, and down. Okay, very good. One more plank movement. This is really good for your chest, your shoulders, your abs. It's called front support. And there's, again, if you need to modify, you can be on your elbows. If you've got shoulder issues, you can be on your elbows. But technically, it's done on the hands. You can also take dumbbells and hold dumbbells. Let me show you. If you've got dumbbells, you can hold the dumbbells to do your plank, okay? So there's multiple ways you can do it. So you're either right on your hands, on your elbows slightly elevated, or protecting your wrists by using the weights. So we start on all fours, Take the right leg, reach it back. Reach that heel behind you. Feel that stretch through the calf, okay? And then other leg comes up into plank. Belly button to spine. We don't want the butt coming up like here. We don't want the body coming down like this. So belly button to spine, squeezing those inner thighs together, pressing your hands through the mat so you don't wing those shoulder blades. Press, okay? Again, remember when you come into this, you can modify. Or you can modify. Okay? So I'll kind of move between the three as we do eight. I'll do like a count of 8. Okay. Hands below, legs come back, belly button in. We take an inhale, bring that knee in. You kind of barely rest it on the ground, send it back. Bring the knee in, barely rest it on the ground, send it back. Bring the knee in, barely rest it on the ground, send it back. Bring the knee in, barely rest it on the ground, send it back. Keep going. If you're modified, here's in, barely touching, sending it back. Just keeping that pubic bone reaching to belly button throughout the movement. Keep going. We'll do it on the weights. All right, good. So when you're doing this, remember, when you're doing planks in any area, because hopefully you're doing lots of working out during this quarantine, when you're doing a plank, you want to sort of have these inner parts of your elbows reaching for each other, okay? Because that helps you from winging out. If your arms are way out like this, your shoulder blades will sort of wing, and it's not good for your shoulders. So you always want to feel like your thumbs are facing each other, the inner parts of your elbows are facing each other, and you're pressing through the mat, all right? Planks are a really good thing to work on. Very good. What do I have here? 35. Okay. So, I want to do a little hip opener stuff. One thing that might help people is having like a band. I don't have one, but you can use a band to help do hip circles. Hip circles can be really hard because the goal, just like in hip work on the Reformer, just like in hip work on the Cadillac, is to keep the hips steady and not rocking and rolling as you're moving. So we come in, we lie down. Arms are long. I know, isn't it nice to get back down on the ground? Both legs are extended. We lift the right leg up. Okay, heel is reaching toward the sky. Bring your hands to your hips to make sure they stay nice and steady. Cross over the center line of your body, bring the leg down, around, and up. Now do this very slowly a couple of times, keeping those hips steady on the mat. The breath cycle is inhale around, down, and up. Exhale around, down, and up. Inhale around, down, and up. Exhale around, down, and up. Inhale around, down, and up. Exhale around, down, and up. And then we pause at the top, switch directions. Now, you can go, but if you want to take a band, you can always put it around your foot and kind of hold it here. Round, down, and up. Exhale around, down, and up. Inhale around, down, and up. Exhale around, down, and up. Trying to dissociate those. Get the leg and the moving around in that socket. Feel that nice stretch. Make sure that your range of motion is not so big or bold that your hips are rocking and rolling side to side. You want them to stay very steady. Last one. On this side, I won't have to explain so much, so we'll just do about 8 in each direction. Bring that left heel up, and we're going to bring it over the center line of the body, around, down, and up. Over, around, down, and up. Over, around, down, and up. Inhaling one circle. Exhaling the next circle. Inhaling one circle. Exhaling the next circle. Last one. Exhaling the next circle, and then reverse it. Trying to keep those hips nice and steady. Pace it so it works for you. If you don't get 8 reps in, but you do it really well, you're getting the benefit of the movement. Oh, I just felt a crack in my back. That was nice. And inhale and exhale. Okay. bring your knees into your chest. Did I reverse it? I think so. If I didn't, we'll do a couple more in this direction. The sun's getting to me. And last one. All right. Whew. Let's put those soles of the feet together. Come into your nice little butterfly stretch here. Feel all of that open up. Nice, nice, nice. Feels good. All right. And roll up in whichever way you found you were able to do it early. Push yourself. Try a roll up that you've never done before. Squeeze those inner thighs together. Squeeze those ankles together. Take an inhale. Lift head, neck, and shoulders. Exhale. And come up nice and tall. Good work, everybody. All right, so if you've got your weights and you feel like working your arms a little bit, we'll just do a quick arm series. It's somewhat reformer inspired, but it's kind of hard to do without the resistance bands and all that stuff. But I want to get a little bit of tricep work in, a little bit of bicep work in. Okay, so we're going to do some pretty light weights here. So we'll start by sending those arms out long. So these should be light, like 2 pounds. If you're going to do heavier, like 5 or 8 pounds, if that's all you've got, you can bring your arms down by your side. But ultimately what I want to do is get that nice 90-degree angle thing happening that we do in our reformer series or the Cadillac series. So we take an inhale to prepare, exhale. Using those biceps, we draw the arms in, elbows reach far away from you. Inhale, open, exhale, bend. Inhale, open, exhale, bend. Make sure that that belly button is still reaching to the spine. Shoulders are over hips, hips are over knees, knees are over ankles. Just do a few more here. The real trick here is when you extend and you're lengthening that muscle against resistance. That's that eccentric contraction that really gets those deeper muscle fibers strengthened and stretched. That's the glory of Pilates right there. And one more. And release. Roll out your shoulders. You can bring your arms up. Okay? So if you have your weights, make sure that your palms are like this. All right, so your palms are always facing your face for this exercise. We don't want them opening up this way. All right, not like a machine. Your arms are facing your face. Okay, your palms are facing your face like you're touching the rim of a hat. Okay, so we start in here. Open. Inhale, exhale, open. Inhale, draw center. Exhale, open. Inhale, draw center. The goal, keep those elbows 90 degrees. Open. 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 Last one. Woo! I can feel the burn, huh? You can always drop your weights. This can all be done without weights. When I do this in class, teach it, I do it without weights and I feel it. All right? So never push yourself to a point where you're going to injure yourself. Just incrementally. This is really just, we're just doing this right now to stay fit and moving and healthy. Oh, I hope you're all getting a little sweat. I am. Okay, so now we're going to just do a little bit of tricep work. So we're going to kind of bend forward, and I want you to reach those weights just behind you. And you take your arms, all right, and just lift. But keep them, don't let them come back. Don't let them come past the point of your hips. Now, the goal here is to keep the arms as straight as you can. That's when you're going to start to feel that burn in your triceps. Okay, a little burn in the triceps. You know, tank top season is coming, so we still need to work these arms. You know, we all feel like it's a forever winter, but it's going to get warm. Last one. And release. All right, so put these weights down. Let's just do a little bit of stretching here. Okay, actually we're going to do one more little exercise. We're going to do a little cat stretch to end things out. And cat stretch is a great thing to work on. People do cat-cow all the time, like in yoga, but the cat stretch is different. And if you've taken my class, you know that it gives you such beautiful thoracic extension, and it gives you more mobility in that thoracic spine than just kind of going through the motions of the cat-cow, because you really have to concentrate. So you're going to come into your quadruped all fours position. So your wrists are just below your shoulders, your knees are underneath your hips. As you take your inhale, think about keeping the belly button to spine. You want to keep, you're in a neutral spine to start. So that means tailbone to head, all in a straight line. Okay, you could rest of water on any point of it and it would be in a nice straight line. Draw the belly button to spine. Make sure you're engaged in those abdominals. Keep that engagement. Try to keep the lower half of your spine in neutral as you lift your chest. Shoulder blades are reaching down your back. Still reach that belly button toward the spine. Reach that chest away. Open your heart here. Feel that thoracic extension. And then come back to neutral. And then you're going to just round the lower back. You might feel that head drop a little bit, but you're feeling much more of that release in that lower back. And then we come back to neutral. Inhale, chest comes forward. Try to keep that lower half neutral. Keep those abdominals engaged. Keep that shoulder blade reaching down the back. And then we come back to our neutral. Inhale, exhale. Keep pressing those hands through that mat, just like you would in your plank, to keep those shoulders from winging out. Inhale, chest. One more round of that lower back. Come back to neutral. And let's sit back into a nice rest pose. When you're in your rest pose, you want to still pull those abs away from the thighs. You'll feel that deep stretch in your lower back. Think about still drawing those shoulder blades down your back, but you're reaching the fingertips long. Deep stretch through that upper body, through that lower back. Let's do a little bit of side stretching here. Stretch those arms out a little bit, and then we're going to end with a roll down, and we'll see how that feels for you. If that feels different than your roll down before the beginning of this class. So bring those feet hip width distance apart. Bring the arms up overhead. Interlace your fingers here. Take an inhale. Keep the shoulders reaching down and away from the back, and just kind of twist over. Reach that left heel through the floor. You want to kind of keep length through the waist here as much as you can. Shoulders away from the ears. Feel that nice stretch. Take an inhale. Exhale. See if you can get a little deeper. Inhale, exhale. Lift yourself up using your obliques. Make sure those shoulders are down and away. Inhale. Exhale over. Inhale. Exhale. Release this. I think that may have, did I fix my thing? Okay, sorry. All right, now let's come to our position for roll down. Bring those hands in front of your thighs. Shoulders are down and back. Collarbone is wide. Belly button is engaged. Inhale, exhale, chin to chest. Roll down through the spine. Soft bend in the knee here, always, for everybody, no matter how flexible. Oh, I've got more here after that class. Inhale at the bottom, exhale. Roll your shoulders. Take a big inhale. Exhale. I wish you all such health. Stay safe and know that I miss you and I can't wait to see you all. And thank you for taking this class. I hope it was good. I've never done anything like this before. Feedback welcome. Alrighty, take care.